Here's some good advice on how to keep from fading out. It happens all the time in the sport of wrestling. You just have to focus on staying positive. And by being positive, we just simply mean this. You are focusing on what you have accomplished. Look at how far you've come. Don't always just look at where you need to go, where you want to go. Don't get depressed because maybe you haven't had the success that you've wanted to have so far. It's okay to want more. You should want more. But it's important that we don't fall apart emotionally because we only look at what we didn't accomplish. You know, Jay Robinson has a cool video somewhere about how he was an Olympian, and since he didn't get a medal, he sort of never really shared that part of his life, that story. He was kind of embarrassed. I think he said it wasn't until 1994, almost 20-something years later, that he started to acknowledge that he was an Olympian and, you know, was kind of proud of it. So he focused on the fact that he wasn't a medalist, and him becoming an Olympian was a sore spot in his life. Whereas, you know, most people, I think that if they were an Olympian, they would look at that as a positive, right? But if you focus on, I didn't get a medal, then it's negative. If you focus on, I'm an Olympian, I did better than 99.999% of the athletes, then it's a positive. So there's a good example right there. So I encourage our guys to think positive, look at what you've done, expect for some bumps in the road to occur. Don't expect to be perfect. I had a great coach in college. He told us maybe 5 matches in your whole career will you feel perfect, and will you walk onto and off of the match just feeling like amazing, like everything was clicking, everything was perfect. You know, but there's usually going to be something. You didn't sleep well last night. It might be cold in the gym. You have a hard time staying warm. Maybe your legs are tired. You certainly have injuries. You may have a broken finger you're dealing with. You may be about 2 pounds heavier than you wanted to be, and you're in the semis. So you got that to kind of contend with and block out while you try to win the semifinals match. All of these things. So there's going to be bumps in the roads. Nothing's going to be perfect. You're going to have very few times in your life when things are just on the wrestling mat, of course, where things are just phenomenal. So expect some bumps in the road, and then that way, when they happen, and they're going to, it doesn't faze you. You know, a great boxer expects to get hit in the face. They expect it to happen sometimes. A great pitcher in baseball, they expect that some people are going to hit home runs off of them. You have to expect some things to happen, right? And so I think that if we expect some bumps in the road, then, you know, we don't fear the bumps in the road because I know they're going to happen, right? Fearing the unknown causes anxiety. So I tell our kids this: wrestle like you're in 110% control over the outcome. You know that you're not always. Obviously, the ref can make a bad call. You can get hurt. There's a lot of things that can happen. But you have to compete like you're in 100% control over everything. But deep down inside, we know that we're not in 100% control. So you approach it like it is, but yet you just kind of, you don't worry about the unknowns, right? Kyle Snyder had a great thing on Instagram. A picture of him that said, "No fear of the unknown." And, you know, that guy's the best wrestler on the planet. So we can learn from those guys and their stories. But if you're someone who's getting discouraged, contemplating quitting, maybe not happy, it's probably because you're focusing on what's wrong instead of focusing on what's right. Don't focus on what's wrong. Focus on what's right. Have a positive outlook. Focus on what you've accomplished. It's called being grateful. Write down 500 things that you've accomplished if you can, and read that 2 times a day, right? And then look at your goals. You shouldn't just look at your goals that you haven't accomplished yet, because that can sort of be negative. You also want to look at the things that you have accomplished, right? And you know, I do that as well. There's things that, you know, we just finally took 20 years to get our training center built. 2 decades of working no less than 55 hours a week, every week, year round. I'll work 12 hours on Sundays sometimes. Finally, things get to slow down for me a little bit, that I get to hire some help. But it took 2 decades. Now we have a 15,000 square foot training center on 10 acres just outside of St. Louis. Kids coming to our camps this summer from Germany and all over the nation. But it took a long time. But you know, so I mean, I've lived it from a wrestling standpoint, and then from a coaching standpoint, then from a business standpoint as well. And I know for a fact that the times I've gotten discouraged and given up or almost wanted to was when I was focusing on the negative and not the positive. So there's some great advice. Good luck to everyone out there. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. Come check us out at purlerwrestling.com, and good luck to everyone.